All right. Hello, everyone, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And welcome to our online session today and today's session. So it's a pleasure that have each of you joining us from the different parts of the world. So this is Arash Aghajani. I'm a Microsoft MVP and community leader from Vancouver, Canada. So today I'm going to quickly review our this month's session and our today's session. As you see here in the screen, so today I'm going to host our session and we have a special guest, Shahar, and he is a senior digital consultant based on Dublin. And he will talk about the AI and how revolutionizing customer and employee experience, harnessing Power Platform, blockchain, and AI. It's an interesting topic, and I'm exciting, to learn some things around this from the Shahar. So our last session for this month will be on next week, December 14, and I will talk about the avoiding costly mistake in the low code development. So it should be also another great session that we will host this month. And after that, we will have a break, I think, for the December, and we will start our January. So I will update, you through the LinkedIn page that we have for the Power Platform Learner to Leader about our session for the January 2025 and the plan that we have for the 2025. So let's go quickly to the next slide and talk about the Microsoft Learn and the Microsoft Learn community. So the Microsoft Learn community is a collection of experience offering learners with a variety of ways to connect and engage with other learners and technical experts to increase expertise on the topics that matter most to learners and achieve career goals. So it includes the Microsoft Learn Hub for update and discussion, and learning rooms for direct engagement on specific topics. The Power Platform Learner to Leader is one of the Microsoft learning room, which has more than 2,000 members. We are sharing the latest information about Power Platform in our learning room, and also conduct this series of sessions every Saturday for Power Platform enthusiasts. So if you are not a member of our tech community, join through this link, aka.ms/join PPLTL, Power Platform Learner to Leader. And the next slide is about the code of conduct that we have for our session. So it's the Microsoft aims to empower everyone globally through knowledge sharing and events, ensuring respectful and inclusive environment for all. Harassment or degrading behavior is not tolerated, and everyone is responsible for upholding these standards. The code of conduct encourages awareness, friendliness, respect, openness, understanding, and kindness. So before we begin, a few important notes here as ever. So if you have any question during the presentation, feel free to type them in the chat box. We will have a dedicated Q&A session around 5 or 10 minutes toward at the end. And this session is being recorded for those who couldn't join us live and will be available shortly in Power Platform Learner to Leader in YouTube channel. So we know that we have different time zone, and someone will join through the different time zone. So it's a little bit hard, to adjust the session for everyone. So based on this, so we record our session, and you can see the session and watch them through the YouTube channel. That's it at my end. So I'm going to add Shekhar to the stage to start his presentation, and by starting a little bit introducing uh, yourself. Shekhar, how are you? Hello.
Hello, Arash. Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So, thank you for. I know it's a weekend, so thank you for giving time.
Yeah,
Who is joining or who is watching later, and thank you, Arash, for giving me a platform to speak today.
you're welcome.
And I will be speaking more about revolutionizing experiences. So, using Power Platform, using Gen AI. So,
Mhm.
before I start, is there anything, Arash, I need to like wait, or should I continue? Or
Yeah, yes, yes, you can continue. Yeah.
and just before, so we are like it's around 40-45 minutes I have because
Yeah.
I just be conscious for the
Yeah.
next Q&A.
Yeah.
Okay, so now so before I start, like I just want to give context on like what we will cover in this structure. uh, so we'll talk about revolutionizing customer experiences, which involve personalization, which involve digitalization, which involve giving them new technologies, but we'll focus more on the personalization aspect because that covers around 80% of the empower you give to your employees or to your customers. And when you say you change your customer experiences, it also means you're changing your employee experiences. So I'll talk about what it is and its need. I will talk about, then I will give a briefer on Power Platform and Gen AI. In other technology section in the bottom, I will talk about new technologies like blockchain, quantum, how it can be used. But the main focus will be on the one use case and then more use cases, how to go about this, how to go about adopting personalization, how you can help your employees understand it, how you can train your staff, and then, of course, make your customer understand why it's needed and how to go about it. Uh, then we'll also talk about some other technologies, like I mentioned, but in the last, we'll just do key takeaways. So starting with the personalization, the need of personalization. So before it, like let me give you a context. So usually when we give these sessions, or I give these sessions, I usually give a demo on how Gen AI can be used or how blockchain can be used, or present a solution. In this webinar, what I will do is I will talk about the use case generation. So instead, when you don't have a right use case, you don't implement right things, or you don't plan for right things. So in my job or in my task, what I have to do is consult the customers or my key clients to understand how to generate these use cases, because these are everywhere. And so I will focus more on the use case generation instead of the implementation and planning. I can work on in other sessions, and I can show you demos on how to integrate Copilot, Gen AI, how to use Power Platform. But let's focus on why do we need it, and how do we do it, and how we do we generate the use cases, because it's everywhere. And as you see on the left side, is basically first choose the right things to do and then do the things right, as opposed to doing things right, because those might not be the right things to do. um, okay, so what is this customer experience, employee experience? What is this thing called personalization? If I go by the dictionary, what you find on Wikipedia or on the Webster dictionary, it says that it's about tailoring your service, tailoring your products to the needs of the customers. But in this modern world, what is that unique need, or what is that characteristic? It basically depends on what kind of product you have, what kind of service you have. So if you see on the right side, there's like a graph, and it says promotions. It's talk about messaging to their needs. It's talk about their customer behaviors, what age group they are, what kind of products they like. You might have heard more about, okay, people are moving towards animal free, sustainable products. Even that is basically related to personalization in some way or form. So personalization is not just one thing. Okay, we do this for our customer. It's about how we follow from one end to other end, and how we tailor our services, how we shape the customer experience according to what they need, and not just one, for every customer according to them. So that is all about personalization. It's a new term. Now it's called hyper personalization, basically. And that's what I consult my clients on. And that's I will walk you through today on why do we need it, and then specific use case, and then multiple other use cases, how you can think about it. Uh, so the need is, of course, like our needs. I am changing, my customers are changing, employees are changing, the world is changing. Like we are more global than ever before, and we like to have unique experiences which only we think, okay, we can get from a specific company or from a specific service. And if we don't get it, we try to jump to some other customer, or like company, or some other service based company, because they are providing that. And the need is because there are so many people, it's all, everything is global. You can just book a ticket and go and experience that thing, or you can order a product from Amazon while sitting in US, and you're ordering from India, and then you will get it. So it's a lot of pressure, a lot of competition. And if we don't provide it, the problem is that the customers will just leave away. It's not like traditional world that they stick to one particular company or one particular product. They want that personalized feel at the right price, at the right time, and in their own way. So basically what I'm saying is the world is changing, and we have to change, or even our businesses have to change. We have to change our own businesses. If we are working in a corporate, let's say, we have to advise our employees to change, to think in that way. If you are in consulting, it's ever more important, because we are consulting the clients, and we need to tell them how they can change, or why they need to change if they want to stay relevant in this business. So the just some stats about Gen AI and about the low code, no code. So right now, more than 10% like will be data generated will be using Gen AI. Basically, what it's saying is, using AI, it's more and more data is getting generated. More and more people are using these new technologies as opposed to before. And if you see on the right side, the applications, the personalized applications are removing the or moving towards more automation. It will increase by 65% as we go more into the future. So these things are already here, but if we don't do it now, we are just riding against the tides, and that is what we should be advising against. So the term is simple, like if we don't adapt, we face a tough road ahead, and I don't think anybody would want to be in that journey. So if I show you these examples, some of you might know already. Some of them like might be your client, some of them might be working, or you might be going for, for grocery, etc., or for shopping. American Airlines, Sears, Kmart. At one point of time, they were at the very lows, because they were not changing. They were not changing their experiences for the customer. Specifically for American Airlines, it was at the very end. But if you look at the Power Platform, even in the learner community, there are some case studies in how American Airlines used Power Platform to basically realign what they were offering to their staff, how their employees got some digitalization, personalization in how they can book their own times, and more towards the customer side as well. Like if I use American Airlines app, it basically tells me where I am in my journey, how much time the flight is delayed by, or when is the flight, which gate, which no other airlines is providing right now, or to that extent. And they are back in the market. And same with Sears and Kmart. Uh, so it doesn't mean that, okay, you are late, that you are gone, but it means that when you realize it, you need to start changing it. And right now is the right time to start realizing and getting in the market, because uh, AI is just started, Gen AI just started, Power Platform is booming, new technologies like blockchain, crypto are here to stay, metaverse is here to stay. So we need to provide those unique experiences using these technologies. And the slide shows you the companies who turned around. But there are some unfortunate examples who couldn't turn this around. So if you know, like BlackBerry, I'm sure everyone knows, and BlackBerry was a key player in the mobile phone market, and they were winning. They used to have, I don't know if people used to use those button phones, and they were winning the market. And they were like, when the Nokia came up, they were more about, okay, nobody can touch us. We are the best player in the business category. But Nokia took over, and they took over by a vast margin. But then the same happened with Nokia, and and when iPhone was released, Nokia thought, okay, people will still want to use their platform or their unique buttons or unique phones, but people wanted us a big touch screen with one button, and they liked the feel of the touch screen, and that disrupted the whole market. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, we can say it's a digital transformation, but we are moving towards personalization when we do all these small things. When you get iPhone in different sizes, different colors, it's more towards personalization. Of course, you cannot do personalization to that level in those products, because those are like physical products. You have a limit. But there are many places where you don't have a limit, and I will walk you through that one use case. And similar examples with Barnes and Noble, Kodak. So Barnes and Noble are still out there, but they are struggling. And I see similar things with my clients, that the clients who did it, they are getting gains out of it. Of course, they have to initially pay, like get some new licenses, train their employees, implement COEs, C4Es to make those community. But now they are reaping the benefits, and they will start reaping the benefits in future when the technology matures. The clients who didn't do, they are now coming back to us, or coming back to other consultants, that okay, they need it now because they are starting to lose their customer base or their employee base. Some numbers. So 76% of the consumers, like me, we like to purchase from where we get personalization. Uh, a very good example is, if you buy, if you are interested in cosmetics and all, you might have heard of the name L'Oreal. They do offer personalization, and most of my friends are, they go and buy their products. And on the right side, you see 78% of the people refer the same company to their friends and family. And right now, we think about marketing, okay, outbound, inbound marketing, but still the best way of marketing is word of mouth. And it's more powerful than everything else, because I think there was a study. If one person tells another and then tells another, basically you almost cover the whole world. And when everyone is buying it, so it's like a cycle. You buy more, you tell your friends, they buy more, and they tell their friends, and they buy more. And word of mouth is much more powerful than marketing on LinkedIn and all. Just because example is Instagram, you can go through 100 different posts in a minute, but you cannot talk about 100 different ideas in a minute with your friend or with your family. So you, those 10 conversations, they stick to your family, they go and see the product, and they buy the product or they buy that service. And it might not be looking like it, but it happens organically. So a little bit about, before we go into the use case, a little bit about what is Power Platform and what is, like how it can be used. That will be described in the use case. But for, I'm sure everyone knows here, but my 2 cents on it is that this is one single platform which can basically do everything for you. If you follow this path, you can build an app, you can build a website, internal facing, external facing, like customer facing and employee facing. You can understand where processes are going wrong. You can build automations using RPA. So RPA is robotic process automation, using DPA, digital process automation. And then you can like get your data in Dataverse, which is a database in the Power Platform. And of course, people might have heard about Power BI. So you have analytics and dashboarding at your front. And then combining all these, basically, this is only one platform which gives you all that capability. And this is only a snapshot of capabilities you can do. You can do much more with it. It's just that you have to develop those use cases, those ideas, and the MVP community like Arash and others, they are basically helping clients or like other folks in understanding those use cases using this. So it's this, and it's much more of the of the, that's why it's a road, you show, so you can do a lot of things and you can keep going and keep adding to the things. And one thing which you can do very easily is the AI aspect. You can use something called AI Studio there, and you can use you can make copilot I will touch on a bit later. But you can do all these things with one single platform, like which we couldn't have done before. So that is Power Platform, and it's low code, no code. So you don't need to code everything. And from what I know from Microsoft conversations with them, with the Microsoft technical specialists, they are trying to get it, like product managers, they're trying to get it towards no code, more towards no code still. So I wouldn't say you don't have to code anything or you wouldn't have to understand anything like in terms of coding, but as I think Microsoft is progressing, it's going towards more and more towards the left side. Uh, just talking about the main tools, Power BI, I'm sure you might have heard, it's more about dashboarding and like building those reports for the view of senior management. Power Apps, you can develop apps, like example can be an invoicing app that you get a lot of emails on your invoices on your emails, and then you have to go and check. So instead of that, you can just build an app where you can approve and at one place. Or you can say, if you want to assign like rotas to to your employees, or in the customer's employee base, you can use an app to assign shifts and all, or check the inventory instead of going to the dynamics part, and like building extensions of dynamics using these apps, or even small things. Power Automate, again, the best tool out here for automation. You can build, it has connectors, you can build custom connectors. Connectors are basically connecting to different tools or platforms. Like it can be Slack, it can be Salesforce, and you can do it using this. Power Pages, again, the website. And Copilot Studio is basically for building your personalized copilots or chatbots. I don't say chatbots, I say it always Gen AI assisted chatbots, because chatbot are fixed and rule based. Gen AI comes into the play, and the chatbots have more power. They can reason over the data, they can think, and they can even answer, like even if they don't have that specific answer in their data set. So across all these tools, there's one tool which is always there, which is Copilot, which is a tool provided by Microsoft to help the makers use these tools. And on the other side, the people who are using these tools, like users, they can use Copilot as well. Uh, so using Copilot Studio, you can extend these personalized copilots. You can make your own copilot. You can dedicate it towards your own use case. Uh, Here's a little bit about what is Copilot. So if you have heard about ChatGPT, uh, is Copilot is basically the same thing, but I would say much more and much more like ethical and responsible. So it helps you generate content. So you might have seen people generating emails, or in the service portfolio generating replies to the customer, automation of the task, and it is across everywhere basically. So even someone in customer service can use it, someone, a new joiner, can use it, someone in sales can use it, someone in SecOps can use it. And if you really want to make your own personalized Copilot using your own data, you have Copilot Studio. And again, Copilot Studio is a low code, no code tool. So you don't have to basically code everything in this. So we talked about a bit about Copilot, but let's talk about what is Gen AI. So um, they're big words, but Gen AI basically means generative AI. So what is generative? It generates text, images, audio, code, or whatever you are trying to do with it. And why AI? AI, if you see it underlining, it uses neural nets, it uses NLP, which has existed from a long time. But Gen AI has brought all of these technologies together, neural nets, and with the advancing of computation and our processing power, all this has been possible now that we can generate large amount of text, large amount of images, audio. So basically, Gen AI means that it generates new ideas, content based on the data set it has, and it might be wrong, it might be right, but that judgment has to be done by a human. And how it does it, it goes through a large amount of data sets, corpus of data, and it learns the patterns. Again, inside it, there it's the normal technologies like normal algorithms like neural nets, transformers, NLP that's used, and somebody is training that model. And then once it's trained, it starts spitting out basically all the training it has been done on. And if you have heard about chat gpt, it's the same thing. So chat gpt basically means generative pre-trained. Generative is again the same. Generative pre-trained means it has been trained on that large data set, which is it can be customer data. Of course, it should be approved. It can be internet data for internet files, Wikipedia logs, and all, books, library. And from that, it gets the power of, okay, what has happened, and it can generate what could happen, and how the words relate to each other. This just shows, like, why is Gen AI in going, like, helping in personalization aspect. So if somebody wants to do, let's say, they want to do more of like sales. So instead of writing emails, they can use Gen AI to write the emails. Of course, they have to check it, but they can focus more on sales. So it's helping in productivity. It's helping in increasing the customer experience, and it's helping increasing the employee productivity as well. Even what I've used is I've used it in terms of brainstorming myself. So when I consult, or when I do a solutionizing experiment, or you can say product development, I consult with the Gen AI, like the chatbots, and see, okay, am I thinking right? What are the alternatives? What are the other ways to think about it? Uh, I make it like as an anti to me, and it forces me to think in different perspectives. So that all is fueling, and that helps me to understand how can I give the better experience to the customer, or to my employee, or to my boss, or to my colleagues. um, like, so now so I hope this gives a bit idea of Power Platform. I haven't covered the details, but I've covered the main tools, some of the things you can do with it, and what is Gen AI. So in this personalization use case, I will actually walk you through a real life example. You can also find it online, on which companies are implementing this. But this is one of the hot topics in the healthcare, in the dermocosmetics industry at the moment. So the use case is basically, the problem is that these dermocosmetics industries, after COVID, even pre-COVID, with the advancement of online e-commerce and digital commerce, uh, and like the customers are not going towards more on the physical stores anymore. With COVID, they are all this has propelled, so they are ordering products from home. And when you order products from home, specifically cosmetic products, you cannot try them, of course. And cosmetic products is something, it's very personalized to a specific individual, because of skin type, because of their hair type, because of how they want to look, how their skin condition is at the moment, because of the weather, let's say, or because of the where they were. And that creates a problem for the customers, that okay, they cannot order the something, or if they order thinking that it might be perfect, it when the product arrives, it's not relevant to them. And that means uh, they cannot use it, it goes to waste, and the company won't take it back. So basically, there's a mismatch between what they're ordering, what they are getting. Just because what they order, they think it will feel or look like this way on their skin, but it doesn't. So basically, the problem is that they are not able to find the products that match their skin. And there are so many products out there. If you search the product space, there will be sustainable category products, there will be animal cruelty free products, there will be specific skin type products, there will be specific region type products, specific weather oriented products, specific formulations use products. And that basically means that the customers have to sit hours to understand, okay, what that all means, and also to find out that particular product they want. Let's talk about foundation. In our case, for those who don't know foundation, it's like it's used to basically in the cosmetics industry. And it's basically, it has numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it has grades of the shades. And you can get either two, like if you want to buy two, you can get two, or you can get three, but you cannot get both. You can get both and apply it if that matches your skin, but you have to buy two products. So the solution here, which I'm presenting, is um, using Gen AI and using Power Platform. Is that, let's imagine a customer, and customer comes to your app. They want to buy a specific foundation. So what does this application does basically? It basically helps them to understand. It asks them some questions. The chatbot, they can use it, um, like using conversational intelligence. They can type it, they can speak to it, and all that is powered by Copilot, and the app is powered by Power Platform basically. So when those questions or those prompts are asked by this bot, the user or the customer answers like, okay, I want this kind of specific foundation. It should be animal cruelty free. It should be sustainable. It should be grade 2 type, let's say, or it should be prone to. It should stay for, let's say, 8 hours or 16 hours. So what happens in that case is that the model which is used inside, it knows, okay, what the customer wants. The chatbot prompts the user to input photos, the skin conditions photos right now, and like if the customer is okay to take pictures, the picture can be taken by the phone. So using that pictures of the skin type right now, using the conversation the chatbot had with the customer right now, like what kind of product they want, using the previous conversations the customer had, in case if the customer is not a new customer, previous interactions, previous products. It analyzes all that data and goes to the product library and finds that specific product for the customer. And let's say the customer is not happy, that is doesn't suit them. The customer can basically talk to the chatbot and say, okay, this two foundation number two is not right for me. Foundation number three is not right for me. Can you give me a foundation number 2.5? So the model basically combines two and three, makes a specific skin tone 2.5, and then the user can try on it. The way user can try on it is using AR and VR, basically augmented reality, virtual reality. In terms of dermocosmetics, the term is called virtual try-on. They can see how their skin will look, how their hair will look if they buy this product. So now we are bringing them closer to the physical store. So they have spoken to someone, they have seen how after mixing the products, how will their skin look. They have sent their complaint as well, or you can say their interaction that, okay, this product doesn't suit them. And in terms of customer experience, there are three things. Now they can use conversationally, they can type. So that's one elevation. The second elevation is that they can give their inputs. Okay, this product doesn't suit them, we want this one. That's the second thing. The third thing is they understand that they can try on the product themselves. So all these are customer experience at touch points or personalization touch points. On the back side, on the company side, the company is getting all this data, and now they're understanding, okay, two and three, most of the people are not liking, so we should make a new product called 2.5, and we should get it out in the market. They also understand where the market is going, like it's going towards animal free, it's going to sustainability, or they are liking more of this kind of product, and they can increase the sales that way. So all that data can be used by the pharmacologies to generate a specific product. On the If you go more on the upside, senior managers can use all this data and see in the dashboarding using Power BI how or where the market is going, and they can direct the teams accordingly, like the sales team or the basically the CEOs or the C-suite, where to divert the money and where to divert the focus of the company. So in this slide, basically what you see is the same thing. The chatbot uses advice from the YouTube forums, advice from .com blogs, the data input by the customer, and it on the right you see a customer conversation. So this can be a conversational, it can be through typing, or it can be through a form. So this is basically increasing the experience from end to end, both for customer, your employees, and benefiting the whole 360-degree like angle. And then moving to the next slide, this is basically the slide which I use when I show the implementation part, like how is this all implemented. If you see, like I won't go through in detail, but this basically says that the customer is interacting They can interact via phone, they can interact via some channel like Slack channel. And then what happens in the inside, like how is all the data gets collected from various places, how it's presented back to the user after going through responsible AI checks, after going through grounding, after grounding in the company's data, company's products, and how the interaction happens. But this is more, so for example, like if you see which product suits my skin, and the chatbot says, okay, you should go for a foundation of type aromatic of number 4. And this is just and it happens very quickly, so you don't have to spend hours scrolling through the product catalog. And all this is improving the customer experience in a big way. And that's why a lot of cosmetics and derma cosmetics are going towards this kind of implementation. So in terms of the so that was one big use case which I just showed you, which we are implementing right now, which I'm helping implement. But the same, if you put the same thinking across, you can do it all across different areas, whether you are in manufacturing, whether you are in like in the derma cosmetics, whether in the health space, whether in the retail space, whether you are in the legal space, let's say, or in the supply chain, or you have field operations, you can do all of that using Power Platform and Gen AI. Uh, if I take like one another example, so digital twins is one of the things which you can do in terms of manufacturing or in terms of training your employees. So in this, you just create a avatar and it goes through the same things, same motions which the actual employee could have gone through. And you can check, okay, how we can increase the performance, or how we can increase the percentage usage, or how we can increase the efficiency of that product or of that process. In billing and invoicing, you can of course increase it, like you can make an app, you can you make it powered by generative AI, and that can help you understand, okay, what kind of billing patterns are there, and what kind of when are the receipts coming in, when which customer is lagging, or where our teams are lagging. And this will improve a lot of productivity. So moving on, so what I just talked about was a bit about, okay, how you can think about the use cases and put a lens on different areas. But how do you go about it? Like, how do you think, what are the key things you, how do you start, how do you start generating these use cases? How do you start training your folks? Or how do you start using, or how do you buy a new technology? Let's say, do you focus on technology? Do you focus on specific tool? I just want to cover on this because this is more important. This will help you understand how to go about implementing these changes. So the main focus areas, which usually I have seen, is on technology. That this is a new technology. This is Gen AI. Let's do it. Or they focus more on that this is uh, some other technology coming up by a startup, and everyone wants to use that, or everyone wants to jump the wagon, and especially the C-suite. But that is not what happens in the real case. Senior managers or C-suite, they want to use that, but I think they understand it, they cannot. And the reason is because the people who will use it, or for which the product is getting made, are the same people who are working in your company, or who are basically your customers. So we need to start with people instead of starting with technologies, because we can make a very good thing, a great thing which can improve the efficiency by a lot. But if nobody's using it, it doesn't matter like what the product is, or how big it is, if how big it is changing the world. It has to be used by few at least at the start, and then it has to be used by more, and then that's how you drive the technology. So technology here is the enabler, not the end goal of it, or not the N and B of it. It's the people. So if we focus more on people, I think the process and technology will be covered, because people will come and say, okay, let's use this, let's use that. So you have to find your own champions in this space. uh, Basically 80% of the time, it's the people who we need to focus on. When we say people, you have to focus on what are their motivations, why are they doing this thing, how they are doing it, what's impacting them, what do they fear, and the change management aspect should be strong as well. So in my consulting, um, one thing I always see, if there's a big change which we are implementing or we are doing, we always think, I always see that how strong is the change management part of the company, or let's say of the services team. Because if that is not strong, the adoption will be low. I can build a copilot made app which gives you like documents, or which answers your thing, and you don't have to search hours for it within the Teams channel, or let's say within the HR doesn't have to search for those policies and answer the same questions. um, I can help you do that, but that doesn't matter if people don't use it. If people still goes to HR to ask those policy questions, it doesn't matter. So people have to change their own processes. So we have to train them how to use it. We have to make them understand how will affect them, or how will it impact them. And the sentiment towards AI, if everyone knows, is that okay, it's going to change my job, or it's going to take away my job. But right now, if you actually do a factual statistical modeling, you will see that it's not taking away the jobs, it's actually creating more jobs. So it's if you see the number of jobs with AI, it's increasing and increasing. And it's the same thing with like calculators. So calculators were here, and it was about okay, it will replace some mathematicians, but I think it has propelled mathematicians to much more higher things, like think about how to do differentiation, integrals, and all, and then how to do much more than that. So the crux is that we have to focus on people, and the tech and process will take care of its own. Of course, it needs investment, but what needs more investment and effort is people. And investment is also always in terms of not just money; it's always in terms of how you are training them, how much effort you are doing, how much you're talking to the people, and how you are making them available to that change, and then making them move across that change, so that they are your champions, instead of as we say, they are lagging in that capacity. So the way you do it is, of course, you first crawl, and then you slowly walk, run, and fly. If you try to walk before you crawl, you might be successful, but it might not be stable. So you have to crawl first to walk. And definitely, if you want to fly, you have to build those small bases on top of which you can fly. So that's a pillar we use basically, and that's a pillar how I consult. So the level one, level zero is that you understand where they are. um, then you try to make them enable them. By the time they reach level two, level three, the processes are defined. They understand why the change is happening, why what we are doing, how are we going to personalize. And then when it reaches level five, they are already the champions. So they are advocating for it and helping others going through the same process. uh, if I show it in a clear way, it's basically, first you help employees to understand how they can gain productivity through this. You show them okay, how they can use Copilot, how they can use Gen AI, or how they can use this, how they can make an app for their own tracking, instead of Excel sheets, instead of multiple sheets like lying in different places. And when they get some confidence, you try to give them some you try to nudge them in other places. Okay, you can maybe reduce those files as well, or you can make an invoice processing app which can help you. Instead of taking 10 hours, it will take you 2 hours to do it. Once they are capable of doing this, they are thinking towards personalization anyway. And then once they are enabled, they can help enable the client side as well. And this is very important for the consultants, because they are focusing on the customers. And if consultants themselves doesn't understand how to develop use cases, they won't be able to help the customers understand that, and they won't be able to provide that kind of value which they should have provided to the customer. And if customer understands that they are providing value, I think that's how basically the customers change and get value out of consulting. So once start with the personal productivity, small projects, and move towards personalization or hyper personalization. And the leaders in this category should always think about the bigger picture as well, because if you have a lot of small productivity apps, personalization, it might not fit well in the bigger picture. So leaders need to just keep an eye on this, and that's why we need like a center of excellence model, or a center for enablement model. And how to do this? How can we basically think about what impacts the employees, what impacts the customer? It's the same questions basically. So how do I enhance experiences? How can I do it? It can be a very small enhancement, but it's still an enhancement. Instead of going through emails, maybe everything is captured in the app, and then I save like a lot of time. It's a very small thing to do, but it seems okay. We'll put some time to build an app, but it's only one time effort, and it's saving not only for one employee. If you say if you have 100 people doing the same thing, it's saving that time for 100 employees. And then if you use multiple gains, it's a lot of effort saved and a lot of time saved. But you also need to understand what tools are getting used right now. Like you cannot say use Copilot when they are not even using a chatbot. So you have to enable them slowly. Who all is getting impacted, how they are getting impacted, whose buy-in I need to take, what are the reasons I'm doing it. A lot of clients I see are just doing it for uh, doing it purposes, which means they are doing it for like a lot of that okay we are using Gen AI, we are using AI, so they are not doing it for the right reasons, and they are using they're making it complex. What they could have done with just simple, let's say AI using a regression model, they want to use Gen AI over that, and even that is wrong. The main focus should be, are we simplifying what we are doing? If we're not simplifying, then we need to question ourselves, okay, why we are doing it? Are we doing it to look good, or are we doing to look make the clients or the investors think that we are doing something in that space? It will happen, but the mirror will fall in the end. And then the final bit is, I talked about it a little bit before, the change management aspect, because everything all you talk about, you try to change, you try to enable new things. Even in the client side, you try to bring a new technology, but I've seen a lot of go lives not happening and even getting delayed by a year just because their teams were not ready to adopt it, or they were not able to give enough time to their teams to go through this process to understand what new tool is, how to use it, how this will affect them, what all trainings they need to do, how they need to become efficient in that. So they don't give them time, and the project keeps on getting delayed, and the go lives keeps on getting delayed. And if you think in terms of that, okay, change management costs money for making that like COE model or giving them trainings. Now think about 1 year, the clients consultants are sitting in, and they are waiting for the teams to basically go, um, like teams, the client's team to understand and use the new technology. Think about that kind of cost as well. So I'm coming to the end part. Basically, how you go about is taking baby steps. So think about the landscape, find the small use cases, build on them, but keep the bigger picture in the mind. So like you go step by step. You have to do that. You can skip one step at max, but you cannot skip all the steps and reach at the end. So a little bit on the other technologies. I think, Arish, I don't have much time. I have a few minutes left, yeah, to go through this presentation.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So in this other technologies, like I'll talk about few of them. So like for example, blockchain. The first one is blockchain as, so think about a use case in a legal firm. If you are doing, if you're talking about building an app, providing an experience, maybe doing a conferencing, what happens in the legal firm or law firm, or in case you are dealing with these kind of firms, you have to store that data, that okay, this was discussed and this happened, but how do you protect it, or how do you make it that okay, this is the final document or final conversation? That is via blockchain. And basically you link your Power App with the blockchain, whichever you want to use. They're out there. The most heavily is Ethereum, but it can be Solana, it can be Bitcoin, but that's one way. And there are specific blockchains for legal, and the same thing can be applied for the conversations. Like when you call the customer call centers, it's recorded, but how do you prove the validity of it? It can be on the blockchain, or all the financial transactions you do on the app. It's fine, but what we can do is we can take a hash of it. Again, like it, I can talk about it in a whole different session, but you can take a hash and you can store it in a blockchain. um, so that's one thing. uh, In our example, we talked about buying a foundation and personalizing it. But let's say the right foundation is the app suggests the right foundation. Now, how do you pay for it? Do you ask the customer to pay using fiat currency, using money, using mail orders? What about cryptocurrency? How about Bitcoin? So that is one way of providing experience. I talked about virtual try-ons and all, but metaverse is a next level. Like everything happens in kind of a augmented reality, virtual reality space. They feel like they're in a physical room, like a physical store, and they are trying different products, and they are inside it. So that is the next level of personalization, which is a part of hyper personalization. The last two ones, how they help is quantum computing basically enables you to um, parse the data, makes your model faster. So let's say if you take 2 minutes to for the product to suggest an answer or suggest the right product, it will take milliseconds if quantum computings are enabled. It's not enabled right now. It's in research. Some big techs are playing with it right now, and some of the small startups as well. But it's coming, and it's coming fast. 3D manufacturing is mostly for the manufacturing side of industries. Like if you want to um, take a model and see how it will look like in the physical space, you can consult and you can have 3D manufacturing printers, and you can build a personalized, specific small model and see if it uh, looks and feels the way, or the texture is the same it looks as you are suspecting. And if not, you can ask the company to change. And how it all integrates is, again, you can order it via Power App, you can order it via Forms. So it's all 360-degree integrated, but we don't think of it in this way right now. But that's what I'm trying to do, that if we think of it in this way, because a lot of legal firms, they have a lot of data on blockchain, and or they are thinking about using cryptocurrency, let's say in terms of financial clients, but they don't know how to link all of that. And that's why we need to think in this way as well, how we can bring all these technologies together. So key takeaways from my deck is basically think about the right use cases first, and I've given you a model on how to go about it, and it's people first. And they will tell you what needs to be done. And people can be your own employees, it can be the customers. In terms of consulting, if you are looking for use cases, listen, they will tell you what needs to be done, and then ask them the right questions, like, okay, how this impacts them, what bind you need, what all things exist right now, where do you want to go, why do they want to go there, and is there a better way to go there. And the last point is that it's iterative, so everything changes. The changes you make is incremental, so first crawl, then walk, then run, and keep on changing. Basically, change is inevitable, and if you iterate, if you move slowly, if you keep changing, you will be in the race. So hopefully the presentation covered, gave you a bit of aspect of why we need this personalization, and I touched on a bit of our platform Gen AI, and then how to go about it. And then, of course, if you want to talk more about, understand more of these cases, I'm available, as Arish will tell you. And then I'm available for more sessions to actually go into implementation of these technologies, or implementation of blockchain and how to use about it. So thank you everyone for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Harsh. So it was great. So we learned a lot of things here from your today presentation. So it was around the, actually, what I learned from your presentation is that it's not actually the technology itself is not important, because every year, every month, different type of technology released in the world. So the
Mhm.
important things is the personalization, and the adoption and the change management in the organization. So how
Yes.
we need, actually, based on the project that I'm delivering here for our clients, so I'm seeing that it's just not technology. The technology come here to, to simplify everything, in organization for the people, but important part is the change management, is the adoption, and how we can adopt this technology to the employees and to the organization, and how they can use, this technology to expedite the process, how they actually it's try uh, to help them to figure out some issue, to do everything, using the generative AI, and AI tool, something like that. So yeah, yeah, that's important here. I like your statistics. So it was great for the people that wants to know the statistics around this technology, around the adoption, how the organization, and also the case studies that you provided. So it was the great things that, because I know that you are a senior consultant and you are working on the digital transformation project. So
Mhm.
it's important that we see the different type of the case study, and the larger and the big companies that using actually this technology, like the power platform, and how they transit from the traditional work to
These
to the
monolithic
digital.
things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, it was a great combination of these things that it's important for the organization and for the people. Actually, it's you call them personalization. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much, and thank you everyone for joining us today. So I think I am not seeing any question here. So if you have any question or you need some consulting, or advice, anything through this. Through this the adoption, the personalization itself, so you can reach out to Shekhar, and Shekhar will help you. I know that he uh, has a lot of things to share with you around this. So actually the 1 hour is not enough to talk about everything. Just it's just to provide some keys, some tips, around the technology and around the topics that we bring here in the session. Okay, so thank you so much. So hope to see you again, Shahar, in our future events in 2025. So we plan everything, and also we planned great things for the 2025. And
Mhm.
yeah, I will inform everyone through the LinkedIn page as soon as at the end of the December. Okay.
Okay.
Anything on your side?
Yeah, so thank you, Arash, and thank you for giving me this chance. As I always say,
Welcome.
I think these are great platforms to like tell how we are using technology and how we are consulting our clients, and sometimes it gets lost within that client or within our head itself. So these platforms give us a chance to help enable more and more. And I think the great work Microsoft is doing with the Power Platform, I think it has been the number one for years, and what it doesn't have, they are building it right now as we speak. So these tools are helping me, and I think, of course, I think I would imagine you, Arish, to uh, build those experiences or provide new sort of tech capabilities to our clients. So thank you for inviting me, and I'm happy to come back again. This time it was more on the use cases, a little bit more talking, because that's important just to understand how do you put a lens on the use cases generation, how to think about it. But if people want to see the implementation part, or how to enable or how to use copilots, or how to use even blockchain, or even a very simple steps, I'm happy to do that, come back and do a demo or implementation as well in front of everyone.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. And have a great weekend, everyone. And see you next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.